Hello, welcome to this class. Welcome to spring. Absolutely glorious. I should be doing this outside, but I'm not. So this is going to be about 30-40 minutes. This is the class I'm teaching this week. It's got a few interesting things in it. Not going to be really wholly on back bends, but there's going to be a few back bends there. So before we start, just be mindful of any constraints, any sensitivities in your body. Take responsibility for yourself. You don't have to do all of these postures. See how you go, and it's perfectly okay simply to sit back and watch and then go again another time. Okay, going to start in the child pose at the back of the mat. So coming down onto your knees, take your knees out to the edges of the mat, big toes joined together, and then slowly lower the chest down and the hands down. As you bring the hands up to the top of the mat, open the fingers, plant the hands down so you get a really good grip on the mat, and then draw your hips backwards so you find that traction, if you like, through the upper body, and then find that nice stretch here. As you breathe in, breathe down into the lower part of your lungs, into the tummy area, as you expand your ribs. As you breathe out, simply sit the hips back a little bit deeper into the posture as you find that stretch through the back. Just taking a moment here just to feel how you feel. Follow the breath. Follow the breath as it enters and leaves the body, in and out through the nose, breathing down deep into the bottom of the lungs. Every time you breathe in, the diaphragm pushes down and actually massages the front of your lumbar spine. Giving it a nice caress, a nice internal massage, and given that we breathe about 20,000 times a day, this is why it's super important to breathe down into your tummy area rather than in the tops of your chest. Your spine will love you for it. Just taking this time, this moment, this breath, to bring your mind into your practice, into the sensations in your body, into the breath, and letting go of any thoughts, anything you brought onto the mat, anything you're ruminating or concerned about or thinking, or anything that's really being quite front and center in your head. Okay, we come up a little bit, bring your knees hip width apart. We're going to sit back into child and take a nice big breath in here. Exhale. Next breath in, lift your head up, come up on the inhale into tabletop. Bending the elbows, exhaling, taking your chest to the floor. Right, all the way to the floor, chest and chin to the floor. Gently pull back on the hands, breathe in as you peel the chest away from the floor into cobra. Going steady at first, breathe out to the floor. Push up onto your hands and your knees, breathing in into tabletop and breathing out, taking the hips back into child. Next breath in, you lift up into tabletop, so lift your head, come up nice and slowly, pulling your tummy button in, exhaling, coming down to the mat. As you come to the end of that breath out, pull back on the palms of the hands, peel the chest away, lift the crown of the head forwards and up. Breath out to the floor. Breath into tabletop. And breath out back onto your heels. Breath into tabletop. A couple of cat cows here. So breath in, tummy down, tailbone back, lift the head. Breath out, round your back, draw your core in, drop in your head. Just feeling through the spine. All really about moving, loosening, softening the joints, the fascia, the connective tissue at this part of the practice. Okay, we're going to tuck the toes in, going to sit the hips back a little bit, push into the mat with the hands, push our knees away from the mat several inches. Stop to hover here for a little bit, push back into the heels, and then slowly lift the hips high towards the ceiling as the legs straighten, and then send the heels down, look back at your ankles. Bend one knee, push the opposite heel down to the floor, and then cycle over, bend the other knee, push that heel down to the floor, just stretching that through the lower legs. Downward dog pedaling, and then lifting the heels up, bend the knees again, stretch through the toe knuckles. We do this pretty much start of every practice just to open up through the soles of the feet, and then send the heels down. Lift the head up, bend the knees on your toes, walking towards the top of your mat. Come to a bent knee forward bend. Okay, get hold of your elbows with opposite hands, soften through your upper back and your shoulders as you allow the forearms to draw your shoulder blades down the side of the ribs. Feel that nice release here. Again, engage in your core, let your hands drop, dangle. Let the neck be soft, let the head dangle.
And then with your core engaged, tighten everything up around your midriff. Slowly come up to mountain position, rolling the shoulders back. Taking the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, straighten the arms as you lift the chest up. Look up, and then release the hands. Inhale the hands up. Bend the knees, take the hands down onto your shins with a breath in for a half lift. Straighten your legs, lift your chest up, and bend your knees. Exhale, breathe out, hands come to the floor. And you can get your hands grounded on the floor, walk the feet back to the back of the mat, and breathe in as you bring the shoulders forwards on top of the wrist. You can drop straight onto your knees if this is too much already, but you can hold plank here. Just feeling that tension in the whole of the body as you breathe softly. Try not to hold your breath. Keeping the breath moving will allow the body to produce energy in these postures. Breath in and exhale onto your knees. Keep your elbows tucked in, chest and chin to the floor. Tops of the feet on the floor, breath in through and up into cobra. Familiar route now, breath out to the floor. Tuck the toes in, push up onto your knees into downward dog, or if you've got the strength, push up into plank. If you're in downward dog, lift the hips high into table, lift the hips high into downward dog. If you're in plank, lift the hips high into downward dog. And then look back at your ankles. And breathe. Okay, with a breath in, lift the left leg as high as you can into the three-legged dog, bending the knee at the top. Take the knee outwards to the side, look down the back of the mat to your right foot, push into the right heel, even pressure through both hands, but lifting that left knee up, opening the hip. Breath in here. On an exhale, bring the knee all the way back down the center of the mat towards your right elbow, as close as you can get it. Breath in, lift the knee, the leg up, three-legged dog, taking the knee out to the side again. Scorpion pose, pushing down into that back heel, and then come all the way back down, downward dog. Inhaling through to plank, exhale to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to the floor. Tuck the toes in, push up onto your knees into tabletop, or push up into plank, and then lift the hips high, heels down, downward dog. Next breath in, the right leg up nice and high, bend the knee, take the knee out to the side, push down into the back foot, even pressure in both hands. Breath in here. On an exhale, bring that knee across the body towards the left elbow. Breath in, lift all the way up, bend the knee, open the hip, scorpion. Breath out to the floor. Bend the knees, lift your head up, walk on your toes towards the top of the mat. Dropping the hips down, bending the knees, taking the arms out nice and wide behind you, and then up, all the way up into chair. So reaching up with hands, head is in line with the arms. Dropping the hips, pulling the knees back, feeling the work going on in the quadriceps. And breathe. Okay, breath in here. On the breath out, float the hands down to your shins. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, forward fold, keeping the legs straight, taking the head of the chest towards the floor. Rotate the pelvis forward, sit bones lift. Find some tension in the back of the legs. Weight goes onto the front of the feet, light on the heels. Try not to rest back on your heels in the forward bend. It tends to make forward bends less effective. But if you lean onto the front of your feet, lift the heels and rotate the pelvis forwards, the sit bones lift, lengthening the hamstrings. Feeling it. If you feel it in the back of the legs, that's good enough. Okay. Bend the knees, hands to the floor. Walk the feet to the back of the mat. Into plank. Breath in, shoulders on wrists. Breath out, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Breath in, pull back on the arms, lift the chest forwards and up, drawing the shoulder blades back down the back. Breath out to the floor. Breath in, up onto your knees this time, lifting the left foot forward between the hands. Okay, tuck in the right toes in, lift the right knee off of the mat. Weight goes down into your right hand, turn the shoulders to the left, take the left hand up. Just check your left knee is still pointing towards your toes and not flopping it out. If it is, draw it in with your adductors. Turn and look up at that left hand. Breath in, and then hand to the floor. Step back into downward dog. And then dropping the left knee to the floor, step the right foot forward between the hands. Tucking the left toes in, lift the left knee off of the mat, and then weight goes into your left hand, turn the shoulders to the right, take the right hand up, checking your right knee point straight ahead over your toes. And look up at that right hand. And come back down. This time, rotate your left heel down and then look down at the floor. Pull your whole of your core in, push into the mat with that front foot. Slowly draw the arms forwards. And as you drive into the mat with that foot, lift the arms up into a warrior one. You can turn into the left if it's slightly tight in your lower back. If you can, keeping the hips and forwards, arms up nice and high, really strong, proud posture. Breath in here. On the breath out, lift that back heel and then float the hands down. Step back into downward dog. Inhale through to plank, but then exhale back to downward dog. Inhale through to plank. Exhale, downward dog. Really working your wrists, your shoulders. And then inhaling, your left leg nice and high. If you can, come up to the toes of the right foot. Step the left foot forward between the hands for lunge. You might need a couple of goes. If you're not quite there with your hip flexors, you might sort of come halfway up and then bring the foot forwards. That's fine, absolutely fine. Rotating your right heel down, looking down at the floor. Push into the mat with the left foot. Pull your core in. Drive the body up. Come upright, reaching the arms up either side of the head, looking forwards. And breathing. Tighten your core up. Breath in here. On an exhale, lifting that back heel, float the hands down towards the top of the mat. This time, step the right foot to the top of the mat, feet hip width apart, drop the pelvis, drop the hips down, pull your core in, reach the hands forwards and up into chair. Where we started in this little sequence. And then slowly straighten the legs. Lift up into tall mountain, lower the hands down. Come to the middle of your mat. Turn your feet out 45 degrees. Inhale the hands up, 5-pointed star. Exhale, gliding squat. Inhale, lift up. Gliding squat. Inhale, lift up. And a gliding squat. Just squeeze into the hips now. Soften the shoulders. Maybe a few pulses here, just to exercise, move the hip sockets. Okay, and then hold. Draw the arms out, cactus in the arms of goddess. And then straighten the legs, 5-pointed star. Turn the left foot to face that way. Tuck the right toes in. Bend through the left knee. Drop down into warrior two. Torso is vertical. Arms are nice and horizontal and flat. Reaching as far as you can with your hands. Look over the middle finger of that front hand. Turn the whole of that right arm, that front arm up. Inhale, lift up, reverse warrior. Exhale for side angle. So lean forwards a little bit. Hand comes on the inside of the thigh as your top arm comes over the top. Can rest your forearm on your thigh here if that's preferable for you. It's all about reaching up with that raised arm, pushing into the edge of the back foot, feeling that stretch through the side of the body, breathing into that space, breathing into that lung. Breathe in, reach in, open up the body even more. Draw your core in, tighten everything up around your waist. Slowly bring the arms up nice and wide. Pivot on your feet, 5-point, breath in here. Exhale, gliding squat. Inhale, 5-point. And then go the other way. So turning the left foot, bend through the left knee, bring the torso straight down, tailbone is under the crown of head. Arms come out nice and flat, horizontal, shoulder height, palms face down. Look over the middle finger of your left hand. Turning the whole of the left arm up. Inhale, lift up, reverse warrior. Breath out, come back to warrior, a little bit of a lean forward. The arm comes on the inside of the leg or the forearm on the thigh. And then turn and look back as you bring that right arm over. Again, big long stretch to the side of the body here, opening up the ribs, breathing into that space, feeling grounded. Keeping your core engaged, push into the mat with that front foot, straighten that left leg, pivot on the feet, 45 degrees, and then warrior two on the other side. Breath in, exhale, lift that back heel, windmill down to the floor, step back downward dog. Inhale through to plank, exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Okay, in your speed, your time, your breath. We exhale back to the floor and push up onto our knees and sit back into a child pose, drawing the hips back, lengthen that through the spine. So that's got the joints, the tissue, a little bit more pliable, a little bit soft. Our core muscles now warmed up and prepared and ready. And hopefully our breathing is nice and smooth. So come up into tabletop, tuck the toes in, send the hips back, push into the mat with your toes, lift your knees off of the mat. Lift the hips high, send the heels down, drop the head between the shoulders, look back at your ankles, downward dog. Lift your head, look up between the hands, bend your knees. You can walk on your toes or you can jump or step to the top of the mat. As you come to the top of the mat into a bent knee forward bend, with your feet hip width apart, drop your hips down, draw your core in, sweep the hands forwards and up into chair. Okay, now from here, we're going to lean our body weight into our right foot. We're going to take the left hand back behind us. As we lean into the right foot, if you can, taking the left foot off of the mat and lengthening back with that left foot, finding this one leg balance here. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're wobbly, doesn't matter if you come out of it. If you can, then eventually step that left foot to the back of the mat onto the ball of the foot, sweeping the right hand back behind you. Inhale, lift all the way up, torso comes upright, arms either side of the head into high crescent lunge. Breath out, bend the knees, float the hands down either side. Breath in, lift up. Breath out, sweep the hands forwards and then take the arms behind you like airplane wings, bring the shoulder blades towards each other. Then inhale, lift up into high lunge. Grounding that back heel down, turning the foot out to the side. Stay looking forwards, float the arms down. Warrior two. Breath in, lean back, lift up, reverse warrior. Breath out to side angle, what we've just done. So come all the way back, forearm on thigh, or the hand comes on the inside, bringing that arm over the top. Next breath in, you reach up with that left hand as you lengthen through the body. Turn and look down at the floor. Breath out, sweeping that hand down towards the floor, lifting the back heel up behind you. Sweeping the right hand back behind you, arms are swept back now. Look down at that front foot, and if you can, step up onto that front foot to find Superman balance here. From here, take your time, nice slow movements. Going to slowly come to an upright position, drawing the arms up above us, standing staff, and bringing that knee up as high as you can. Reaching down with your left hand, either on the inside of the ankle or the outside of the ankle. Find some focus on the floor, drawing that left knee backwards as you reach forwards with the right hand to find dancer. So it's a balance, counterbalance. You're counterbalancing that leg going backwards with your right hand forwards. You're pushing back into your hand with your ankle, finding that gentle back bend through the body and feeling the balance, the ground. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work, just attempt it. If it's too much, you can hold on to the wall or you can find a quad stretch, whatever works for you. Wherever you are, slowly release, lift up the hands and float back down to the floor. Inhale the hands up, exhale down. Well done. Okay, we're going to do that sequence again on the other side. So inhale, lift up. On the exhale, bend the knees, drop the hips, find chair pose. Reaching the hands forwards, weight goes back onto the heels. I'm going to come around to the other side. Weight goes into your left foot. And then slowly taking the right hand down to the floor. As it comes behind you, take the right foot back behind you, reach forwards with the left hand, finding this balanced position. Stay here if you can, keeping everything tight and and contracting through your core. Slowly float that right foot to the back of the mat, onto the ball of the foot. Sweep the left hand behind you. The arms are swept back. And then on the next inhale, lift up into a high crescent lunge. Torso upright, arms either side of the head, looking straight ahead. Breath out, bend in the knees as you float the hands down to the side for a lunge dip. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sweep the hands forwards and then down to the floor and behind you as the shoulder blades come towards each other. And then inhale all the way back up to high lunge, pushing down evenly into both feet. And then ground to the back heel, stay looking forwards, float the arms down, warrior two. Turn and hold the front arm up. Inhale, lift up, lean back, reverse warrior. Breath out to side angle. Coming forwards, down to the floor, forearm on thigh, top arm over the top, turn and look up. Taking a couple of big body opening breaths here, stretching up with that hand from the edge of the back foot. Breath in, look up, breath out, look down, and sweep that right hand down as you lift the back heel up, and then take the left hand behind you for arms swept back. Target fixation. Take a breath here. I'm going to step up onto that left knee, take flight in Superman, looking down at the floor, feeling that grounding, that stability, keeping your core engaged, and then slowly going to stand upright, drawing the arms up either side of the head. Okay, and then bringing that knee up as high as you can. So when you take your left hand down to find the ankle on the inside or the outside, whatever works for you, experiment, try, and then slowly drawing that right foot backwards, reach forwards with the left hand to counterbalance to find dancer. Going slowly, don't rush it, feeling the grounding, pushing back into that right hand and reaching and counterbalancing with the left hand. Either looking straight ahead or looking down. When you've got the balance and you've got the posture, stay here and breathe and process what's going on in your body. Feeling how strong. It doesn't matter if you come out of it, come back into it and try again. Each time we try, we improve. Slowly release, come back to standing staff again, and then float the foot to the floor, hands down the side. Okay, with the breath in, lift the hands up. Straight leg forward bend as you swan dive to the floor. Hands come onto your shins. With a breath in, half lift. With a breath out, forward fold. Weight onto the front of the feet, light on the heels as you rotate the pelvis forwards, lift the sit bones up. Take a breath here, and then bend the knees, hands to the floor. Walk all the feet all the way to the back of the mat. Inhale through to a plank. Exhale to the floor. Inhale to locust. Arms down the side of the body, legs and chest lift off the mat, looking down at the floor, feeling the work going on in the lower back. And breathe. And release. Hands either side of the ribcage. Push up onto your knees. Breath in. Exhale back into child. Stretching, lengthening. Open up the back. Take a breath here. And then breath in up onto your knees. Tuck on your toes in, sending the hips back. Push into the mat with your toes. Lift your knees up. Send the heels down. Drop the head, look back at your feet. Bending the knees, lifting head, looking up between the hands, target fixation. Maybe a little jump, maybe lift the left foot off of the mat, bend the right knee and spring forwards to a little step jump to the top of your mat. Dropping your hips. Inhaling, hands up. Chair pose. Then your body weight into your right foot. Sweep the left arm back. As it comes back, take the left foot back, reach forwards with the right hand. Momentarily find a balance here. Breath in on the exhale, drop the left foot back, sweep in that right arm back. Inhale, lift up high lunge. Exhale, lunge dip. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, sweep the hands forwards and back, aeroplane. Inhale, high lunge, ready for warrior two. As you come to the end of that inhale, arms up, ground the back heel, float the hands down, warrior two. Turn in that front arm up. Inhale, lift up, reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill to side angle. Inhale here, reaching up with that top arm. Exhale that hand down, lift the back heel, taking the right hand behind you. Okay, inhale here. On an exhale, pull your tummy button in and step up into a balance here, Superman. And breathe softly here under your control. Slowly sweeping the hands forward and up into standing staff, drawing that left knee up as high as you can. Reaching down with your hand, find the ankle. And dancer, nice and slow, looking forwards. Familiarity here, knowing where you're going, knowing what to do. Only going as deep as you want to go, not forcing it. Find the balance, find the posture. Feel what's going on in your body. And slowly revert, standing staff. Breath in, put hands down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop the hips to find chair. Looking up between the hands, weight goes down into your left foot. Breath in, exhale the right hand back as the right leg lifts off of the mat. Find the balance here and breathe into this balance. Enjoying the control, the stability in your body. Floating the right foot to the back of the mat. Breath in and exhale that left arm back, arm swept back. Inhale, lift up, high lunge. Exhale, nice gradual drop to the floor, low lunge. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, airplane, sweep the hands forward. As they come behind you, draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale, lift up. Remember warrior two, ground in the back heel, stay looking forwards. Float majestically into warrior two. Turn the front palm up, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Next inhale is a lengthening through the body as you look up at that raised arm and find that length, that openness through the ribs. Breath in here, look down at the floor as you breathe out, float that right hand down, lift the heel, take the left hand back, arm swept back. Breath in here. On the exhale, take flight as you push up onto that left foot and take a moment here to find the balance, the control, knowing where your body is in space, building that confidence, looking down at the floor. Tighten your core and slow movements as you draw up into standing staff. Okay, taking your time, lifting that knee up as high as you can, dropping your right hand down onto the ankle. And then when you're ready, only very slowly, take the back bend, dancer, as you push back into that hand with your leg, reaching and counterbalancing with your left hand. Staying, breathing, controlling, staying mindful in the moment, just feeling the effect this has on the body and feeling what's working, what's grounding, what's working, what's stretching. Okay, release, lift the hands up, standing staff. Breath in, exhale the foot, hands down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, one dive down. Forward bend. Hands on shins. Breath in, lift up. Breath out, forward fold. And then bend the knees to get the hands on the floor. Walking the feet backwards to downward dog. Pedal the legs. And then inhale. Your left leg nice and high. Come up onto the toes of the right foot. On the breath out, step the left foot to the left side of the left hand as you draw that leg forwards, just off of the mat. Dropping the right knee to the floor. Lean into your right hand. Turn to the left, take the left hand up and back to find this nice chest opener. And breathe. And then take your hand to further backwards. So looking backwards, if it works for you, see if the right foot will rise up and meet the hand for a quad stretch. If it doesn't, don't worry. Stay with that twist. And everybody now, breath in, lifting that left arm up and lowering it to the floor. Take the chest down towards the floor, maybe bend the elbows, maybe get the forearms going towards the floor. Feel compression into your left hip. Find that compression, soften through the hip, the knee, the quads, the hamstring. Taking a couple of breaths here in dragon, squeezing, pressurizing that hip socket, that joint capsule. And knowing this is doing you the world of good. Then walking the hands backwards to get lift through the shoulders, grounded through the hands. Heel toe, that left foot back in slightly. Lift your right knee off of the mat and step back, downward dog. And then take a vinyasa or stay in dog. Your vinyasa, inhale through the plank. Maybe an exhale, half plank or knees, chest, chin. Maybe a cobra or roll forwards and through into upward dog, drawing the shoulders back, lifting up through the crown of head, drawing your core in. Maybe back into tabletop, lift your hips high, heels down, or lift up, step, roll over your toes, downward dog. Inhaling your right leg nice and high. Come up onto the toes of the left foot. On the breath out, right foot steps towards the right side of the right hand, dropping the left knee to the floor. You'll toe the foot out to the side to give you space if it's preferable for you. Okay, push into the mat with the left hand, turn the shoulders to the right, take the right arm up towards the ceiling and chest opener. Think about your pectoralis minor muscle. Tight muscle in the front of the chest. Think about your shoulder blades coming towards each other. Think about drawing your core in to tighten up around the spine. Our core is a corset muscle. It wraps around the spine. It's not just in the front. Taking the hand back and look back. And then stay with a twist, or if that left leg comes up to meet the hand, maybe a quad stretch. But don't sweat it. Don't worry if it's not there for you. In time, maybe. But maybe you're just not biomechanically predisposed. So not being too judgmental. Do not be judgmental. This is movement to breath. It's not busting shapes. Release, lift the hand up. Inhaling that hand up and forwards. Come down and squeeze into that hip socket any way you want to. So maybe take the hands forward, maybe bend the elbows, dropping the chest down. It's dragon pose. Enjoying that compression, softening around your quads, your thighs. Just imagine what this is doing for your hip socket. Just imagine. Think about how many people don't do this. Okay, walk the hands backwards, get some lift through your shoulder. Heel toe that right foot back in. Lifted the left knee off of the mat. Step back, downward dog. Pedal the legs. And then drop down onto your knees. If you can, cross your lower legs, walk your hands backwards and come back onto your bums. Plant your feet down in front of you. And then lower down on your spine. Pulling the knees in. Going to do some yogi bites. Okay, the yogi bites, really good form of core strengthening. Straighten out the left leg, point the toes, hold it in the air like this. Keep the right knee pulled up into the chest. Take your arms away now. Bend your elbows, fingertips behind the ears. Slowly turn to bring your left elbow towards your right knee. We move on the exhale, okay? So inhale here, on an exhale, turn and bring the left knee in and take the right elbow to the left knee as you extend through the right foot, pointing the toes. Inhale here and then go to the other side, back to where we were. Move on the exhale. Keep your lower back grounded. Inhale here, exhale, move. The slower the better. And when you are moving through yogi bites, it's all about technique and getting good form. So bringing that elbow across, so you really work your obliques. Inhale here. Exhale, come all the way around to the other side. So it's a good twist to work your obliques. And at the same time, inhale here, exhale, you're stretching, lengthening that straight leg, pointing the toes. This really works your hip flexors. Okay, and all that's working all the time, inhale here, exhale, twist, is your transverse abdomen, which is the muscle, the corset muscle around your core. So a couple more here with your speed, your breath. I'm doing it really slowly because I'm offering some guidance, some tips, and it's really hard work. Honestly, it really is. Okay, one more. Bring your knees up into your chest. Massage through your back with a little back roll. Soften your tummy now. And then roll up to a seated position. Okay. Bringing the right knee up into the chest. Wrap your left arm around that right knee. Turn to the right, take the right hand behind the spine and squeeze through the core for a twist here. Not forgetting to pull your left toes up. Turn and look back over your right shoulder. And release. Change over. Hugging that knee in, tight as you can. Wrap your right arm around it. Turn it away or turn to the left. Turn and look back over your left shoulder. Support your spine with your left hand so you don't sit or lean back in a twist. Pull your core in, pull those toes back. Squeezing in, squeezing your core. And release. Okay, taking the right leg out, then the left knee, turn face over that right leg, sit bones grounded, reach the hands up, push up, high as you can. Get on the front sit bones, front of the sit bones, pelvis rotates forwards, drawing the chest forwards, bend knee forward, bend, keep the chest coming forwards, hamstring stretching. Soften through the left knee, the left hip. Keeping the chest come forwards. If you find it sensitive in your lower back, come back, gone too far, or gone too far in this occasion. But draw the chest forwards. Really feel that lengthening of the back of that straight leg. Using your nice yogi breath here. Short breath in, long breath out. Closing your throat slightly, gently sighing into the tension. Give it 3 breaths and the nerve receptors let go. You can either stay in there with a degree of comfort or less discomfort, or you can go deeper. You can draw the chest forwards, go a little bit deeper, soften as you go. Okay, and then slowly come out of that. As you come upright, again, engage your core, protect everything. Taking your left hand out to the floor, good firm foundation, open the fingers, nice and strong through that arm, push into that arm, lift the pelvis off the mat, knee and your right foot ground, lift your right arm up, push the hips forwards as you open up through the body here. And come back down. And change over. So extended through the left leg, bend the right knee, turn face over that straight leg, get the sit bones grounded, roll the pelvis forwards on the front of the sit bones, reach the hands up, push something away. This will rotate your pelvis forwards. You might feel some tension in the back of the leg, the hamstring. Drop the hands down, soften the hip, the knee. Keep the chin and the chest coming forwards and breathe into that feeling, that sensation, wherever it is for you, whatever it is for you. Short breath in, long breath out. Slightly constricting your throat, sending a wave of release across your body. Going on a journey of release, seeing how powerful the breath is in softening the body and relieving you of stress, tension. Breath in here, slowly come up. Sweeping that hand out to the floor, ground it down, push down into that strong platform, drive the pelvis forwards, ground the hand, lift the arm up, breathe in here and out. And come back down. Come finally down onto your bottom. Bend your knees, plant your feet in front of you, take your hands behind you, fingers point forwards. Push into the mat with your feet and then drive your pelvis up into reverse table. Let the head come back in line with the spine, but using your lower back muscles and your glutes to push your pelvis up, looking up at the ceiling. And release. Drop your bum to the floor, lower back on the floor, hug your knees, squeeze and release your knees. Drop your feet to the floor, take your feet out to the edges of the mat, head and shoulders on the floor, arms out nice and wide, and gently rotate your pelvis, your hips, just finally softening through the middle body. Once you've got into the rhythm, breath in, back to center, breath out, knees down to one side, breath in, back to center, knees down to the other side on the breath out. Then start turning your head in opposite directions to your knees. Getting that really nice rotation of your spine. Nice and safe, spine, body is grounded, not bearing any load as such. And you can really nicely soften through the discs, the vertebrae. As we approach the end of this class, and then come back to center, nice and still, sliding your feet to the bottom corners of the mat, let the feet flop out to the side. Bring your hands slightly closer to the mat, rest your hands, whatever is natural position for you. Lift your head, tuck your chin in, lower your head back down. Close your eyes and soften across your body. Soften your pelvis, your shoulders, your arms, your legs, your feet. Just let go now. Staying connected with the feelings, the physical sensations in your body. Feel what feels like it's just worked from whatever posture. And mindful of any tension in your body, particularly your pelvis, your pelvic floor, pelvic basin, releasing any clenching. And particularly in your shoulders, letting your shoulders simply let go. Big, powerful fight or flight muscles in the pelvis and the shoulders store adrenaline. So letting the breath settle naturally into its rhythm. As you soften the body, keeping your mind anchored on nothing really, or a focus on the breath. But don't let any thoughts appear or occupy your mind. We're taking our mind into rest, digest, and repair. And we need to have a steady mind, free of any thoughts. So simply follow the breath. Noticing when the mind drifts away and bring it back. You can practice this as long as you wish.